Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership, ideas, and innovation come together. My name is Epi Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Rob Briskman, the president and CTO of GuardianSat. Rob, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
I am fine, and I'm very happy to share this podium with you, and thank you for the invitation.
Well, thanks for coming in this bold conversation. We do it with various of founders and leaders like you. Rob, you have a quite amazing background. You have been involved with implementation of a satellite communication system since their inception. From being a senior VP of engineering at GeoStar Corporation to co-founding Sirius Satellite Radio in the early 90s. Tell us about your background, your journey, and what inspired you to join GuardianSat as the president and CTO.
Well, I've had quite a journey, as you have described. I always been high on innovation. After a period in intelligence, I actually was a founding engineer of NASA, and used to play ping pong with Werner von Braun.
Wow.
And one week he said, Rob, I can't on Apollo give you only one antenna. In Gemini and Mercury, you have 6 and 7 antennas. You have to find a way. So I thought up a way called a unified S-band system. It was used on Apollo. We implemented it, designed it, and it's still in use today, believe it or not. It's called something else, but it was used on all the Apollo systems for all their communications, telemetry, video, command, everything. Anyhow, I got tired with government bureaucracy, and our government was founding something called ComSat, Communication Satellite Corporation. And believe it or not, I was made responsible and succeeded in launching the world's first commercial communication satellite. It was called Early Bird and then was renamed Intelsat 1. Um, the I did a lot of other things that are very interesting and new. And eventually, as you said, I worked as the chief engineer of GeoStar, which was put out of business by our government's GPS system, which did the same thing, didn't do it as well, but did the same thing and was free to people, whereas our satellites we'd have to pay for. So with nothing to do, I was thinking, and when not, I was drinking with a guy who did direct TV in the United States, Eddie Harkenstein, and he's still alive, by the way. And I said, hey, why don't we put radio into your direct TV? And yeah, I'll put some channels of radio as well as television. But you know, Rob, in the home, people really look at TV. They don't listen to radio. They do that in the car. And I thought about it. I said, yeah, Eddie, you're right. Why don't we do it to the car? And he used those words that challenged me. He said, oh, that's technically not possible. Well, he was right. It was very difficult. It took me 6 patents and about 2.5 years to figure out how to do it technically. But that's what started Sirius XM, my patents. And we got that going very well. It's still going. We have roughly in North America 37 million paying subscribers, and it's growing. And back to your part of your question, you know, you get tired of just more of the same. And I was thinking, what are the real problems? And one of the big problems, and it is a big problem, it's like climate change on Earth, is orbital debris.
Hmm.
And I went through all sorts of thoughts on doing things, could figure out a way to get orbital debris, take it out of orbit practically.
Hmm.
And I said, well, next best thing maybe is to avoid collision with it. And so I have two patents, which is the founding effort of uh, GuardianSat, two patents on how to avoid collision with orbital debris, and also the second patent, how to avoid it with hostile attackers. Um, and so that's the basis of GuardianSat's initial efforts and actually our current efforts. And where I'm going, I want to, I've worked out the technology and I want to fly a Pathfinder satellite. I want to fly it uh, hopefully 2 years from now. And it would demonstrate the ability of the satellite to detect, locate debris, to track it so it knows the piece is going to come and hit it,
Hmm.
and to move itself out of the way if that piece is going to hit it and come back to its original position. And so I'd like to get it up there in 2 years. It won't have all the bells and whistles I like, but enough to demonstrate the technology and its operation.
Wow.
Well, I hope I addressed that question probably more.
Very well. Very well. So, Rob, this is really amazing because not many companies are addressing that issue, the orbital debris, and we keep sending all these satellites up there, but we're not thinking about like what that may cause to the world. And so, if you can give us just an idea to someone who has no clue, uh, how big of a problem this is.
Well, right now it's an immense problem in low Earth orbit. Um, they build their satellites um, so they can maneuver them around debris.
Mm,
And Starlink, that's SpaceX, Starlink, they have, over 5,000 satellites in orbit. And this is a low Earth orbit. And they not only have to dodge the debris, it's so bad that they actually have put and are putting spares because they know that, and some have already been taken out by debris, that others will. So their approach to it is um, have enough satellites up there that the ones that get hit, you can use your spare satellites to recover from.
mm,
That's how bad it is. The space station last year had to do 6 avoidance maneuvers. Um, I am concentrating on the geo or near geo orbits, which the problem is less, but is growing, and but it is still significant. And the reason is the satellites up there are very big and expensive.
mm,
So you can't use, oh, I'll put up spare satellites, take care of it, because the cost of these satellites are very, very high, and
mm.
getting up there is expensive. So um, the so it's a major problem. The FCC or the United States has recognized it. and has all sorts of rules now. If you build and want to launch a satellite, on making sure that satellite does not contribute to more debris. And in fact, I and others who have operated satellites, when they're finished with their useful lifetime, they're put in graveyard orbits. Generally, this is about 1,000 kilometers or less above the geosynchronous orbit, called the graveyard orbit. In fact, my Pathfinder I mentioned is going to be a slightly elliptical, so it goes into that graveyard orbit and maps it, and also could demonstrate the ability to avoid collision with a lot of debris around, because there's a lot of debris in that graveyard orbit, but it doesn't directly affect other orbits.
Got you. So, what innovations or trends do you believe will shape the future of satellite industries, and how is GuardianSat prepared for them?
Well, as a general thought, the things that will shape and improve satellites obviously are better, more efficient power supplies. So better development of solar arrays is of vital importance. Uh, Usually on most satellites, the lifetime is determined by the degradation of the solar cells. In other words, in general, because other things like propulsion, you can load extra fuel, and B, you could use things like electronic thrusters. So the thing that bounds the lifetime of a satellite is the power supply. Um, and another thing, if you are looking generally at the picture, if and when we want to, explore space, go out to the Mars or further, we must have a better propulsion, and we must have a better power source. The solar arrays will not work, and obviously the best, even though it may not be popular with the do-gooders, is obviously atomic power. And NASA, when I actually started work there in 60, I think it was 64, it was before that, was actually working on a nuclear power supply. It's called NERVA, and due to the unpopularity, for some stupid reason, of nuclear power, it really has not progressed. But we will never be able to have significantly large, complex space transportation to Mars and beyond without nuclear power. So that is another very important element.
Yeah. Wow. Now talking about innovation and facing challenges. What has been one of the most significant challenges you faced as leader, and how did you overcome it?
I'm sorry, over what?
What has been one of the most significant challenges you faced in your space, and how did you overcome it?
Uh, the I suppose I'll even take GuardianSat. I have a lot of them. Well, let me take SiriusXM. Remember, I mentioned that everybody thought receiving on an omnidirectional antenna from a satellite radio was technically impossible. The challenge really is that people listen to it in a car radio with a omni antenna. And as the car moves, it goes near mountains, under trees, under overpasses, and you have outages in the signal. And obviously, if you want to listen to music, you don't want it broken up by outages. So the real question is how to provide that signal with almost 100% availability. So you don't have outages from blockages and other elements that occur. And so that was the challenge. What I did to overcome it is that it can be overcome with enough diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually have a patent on what is called satellite spatial diversity. And essentially all that is to put the two satellites up and separate them at a distance so the angle of the signals come from the satellite to the car are relatively different. So if one is blocked, the other one is open. And that demonstrated and produced now for years. In the second, and then coupling that with simple time not having both satellites send the signal at the same time, you delay one several seconds, and in the car you have a small several second button so that if one loses it, both lose it, you can play from that recording for those several seconds until you recover the satellite. So that protects you from short losses from both satellites. So that was one, but the other one I wanted to mention is GuardianSat. The problem there is to actively detect and track the green, which is a small part a significant piece to be less than a centimeter square and still cause tremendous damage. And so that is a very difficult matter. And the solution is to use very, very high microwave frequencies or optical frequencies. My favorite is optical. Essentially, you build an optical radar on a satellite. It's called a LiDAR, LIDAR. And with that, you can, at least our studies show that you can detect small centimeter or under at reasonable distances. You obviously need to detect it well before it hits the satellite because it's moving very fast and you have to move the satellite out of the way.
Mm.
So actually, that is to me the solution, but I found a way to also do it at high microwave, say roughly 96 uh, uh, gigahertz.
Yeah. So always keep trying and never quit, right?
Exactly.
I love that spirit. So, talking about managing risks, Robert, obviously, as a leader and innovation, you always have to think about how can you manage this risk. What advice would you give to other leaders who are seeking to drive innovation while managing risk?
One very simple one, hire excellent associates. Um, you never can think of everything that should be done and how to do it, but you can have the right people working with you. You make sure there are no gaps. So hiring the right people is very important. In fact, the CEO that I hired, Chris Rowe, um, and he is excellent at that. And there are many others. So there are those people who are empowered by the way they think to assess and manage risk.
Mm.
And hard to find, but they are there. And that's my recommendation.
That's awesome.
Uh,
So, Rob, what does bold mean to you? Not bold words, but the word bold.
it's very humbling. It's wonderful to be recognized and appreciated. So, as I said, we really are honored by the award and we appreciate it because, uh, you know, it's not clear that other people understand the importance of these things. And I think the Bold Awards help spread the word on what is being done and what can be done, and hopefully generate from that what will be done.
Yeah. Well, congrats. That's bold enough in your end. Always be bold, Robert. Congrats on all your achievements and for winning last edition of Bold Awards. Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talks series and look forward to seeing you again soon. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always. Take care.
Well, thank you again, and the best to Bold, and keep up your good work. Goodbye.
Thank you. Take care, Rob.